Hello, everyone. I'm going to give a couple minutes to get the stream going here. I apologize. I'm about 10 minutes behind schedule tonight, but we're back up and running, so we should be good to go. Just give me 1 second. Just got to pop in here real quick. Cool. All right. I'm going to get cooking real quick tonight. I posted earlier tonight an idea of what I would like to do for tonight's show. And I think I'm going to be able to pull this off, so we're going to see what happens. Um, Let me actually flip this because this is weird. Clean off this screen. This doesn't look good. All right, let's flip this around and see how this works. It's a little off there. I don't know what is going on. That is weird. Let me check what's going on with my camera here. Got to flip and orientate, right? Well, I guess we're just going to have to turn this around like so. That's how it's going to have to go. All right, get some of this light over here. This will fix your problem. I do need to get another light because I want to be able to see things a little bit better. Okay, so that's right. That's weird. That is really odd. Sorry if you're getting a little dizzy. I apologize. I was wrong. My drawing pad that I have up there is upside down. Let me spin this. So if you're getting a little dizzy, I apologize. Close your eyes. There we go. And one more spin should be good to go. All right. So we're in good shape now. Everything's locked in and we're tightened up. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Put my light off, see where it's going to be. Okay. So we're going to do a couple different things. We're going to go over stuff that we have, that's going to be coming up. And then we're going to go into doing a quick sketch and then jumping into spawn. So let's go over a couple things real quick. So hopefully we have some people coming through in just a little bit to send out some new invites. So hopefully should have some people coming in from my classes. So let's take a look. All right. Let me move this. I can see what's up. All right, that's much better. Now I can see what I'm doing. Okay. So first things first, we have Thanos as a 4x6 sketch card. Okay. Um, the cool part is that when you buy these sketch cards, and it could be one like the Thanos, it could be like this Aang that I have here. When you buy it, you actually end up getting two cards. So you're going to end up getting the one that you ordered, and then you're going to get a mystery card. Like, I'm going to draw something up. You'll get that as an extra. So it'll be really cool. It'll be something fun for you to have for your collection. So please feel free to add that to your stuff. It'll be really, really good. And it's actually at a really good price. So you're getting two things. Some of them start off at like $10 and others are like 15, but you get really cool stuff. I have the Aang and the Thanos. I have a Old Man Logan. I have a Shatterstar. Got a little bit of Deadpool. Definitely got that um, Daredevil. Gonna go for some Street Fighter. So I got Sagat, a little cute Grogu, a little Invincible. Um, because the one and only Galactus came out about a month or so ago. Got that. Got another Street Fighter that's Baraka, I believe. Yeah. Regular Wolverine in the yellow costume. And I think that might be all the ones that I have in stock right now. Now, give me just 1 sec. I'm just going to pull out something really new that I just added on to my drawing set. So I want to pull this out because I think this is really cool. So I've been experimenting with some new cards because sometimes not everybody has like this right here, the size. They have to buy a frame and whatnot for it. Some people like to just collect little cards. So what I did is I made a new series of cards, and I'm going to end up getting even better versions of these. But this is the card that I made. So it's got the Marcus G, and it's a sketch series card. So you'll get your image on there. We'll cut it. We'll make sure it's the right size. And the cool part is once you have it, then it's going to go into one of those little sleeves right there. So it'll look nice. Okay. So this is a special card set I'm making. It's got all the Sinister Six that I'm doing, and that's going to go out here soon. But this is what I'm going to be working on next. Not tonight. This is going to be something I'm going to be experimenting with and seeing how that whole process goes. See if I like it. See how much people enjoy it as much as I do. So that's up on the slate. And next, let's see. So we went over cards. We went over the new stuff. Um, I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do this guy or I'm going to do this one. I might just do this because I have a spawn out I have to do, and I'm going to probably put it on that one. But if you have any special requests, please let me know. Please spread the word. I know I only have a couple people in here as of right now, but I'm going to keep an eye out on things to see how things go. Um, but we actually move this to the side. And let me pull up a couple of things really fast because I need to see what's going on the other streams here. Okay, let's see here. Sorry about the dead air. We're gonna get going here in a second because I just want to see what's up. Okay, so there, let's see. That's pretty good. Okay, and let's get cooking, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and do our first 4x6 because again, I got to warm up. I can't just jump into doing a spawn really fast without doing a good little warm up here. So let's get it moving. Get that out of the way. All right, right there. Um, for those of you that are new, oh, I don't have anybody new yet. Just waiting. um, well, anyway, I have people that are. I have one person that's online right now. But anyway, I use a red pencil lead. I'm gonna flip over to a regular pencil lead and finalize it with some ink. The red actually gives it a little bit of a cool tone. I don't know who I'm going to do today, but I'm going to just think about something I want to do. You know what? I know that it is Let me share this really. All right, so I know that Halloween's coming, so I think I'm just going to go ahead because he's a a really popular character. I'm going to do the Terrifier to start. Never drawn this character before, so this is going to be new. I, my goal moving forward, not that I don't enjoy doing comic book characters, but my goal moving forward is to start doing characters that I don't typically work on. Um, and I say this because I was just at an artist day at Famous Faces and Funnies up in Melbourne, and I mean, I have this guy that comes in every artist day, and I'm not gonna lie, this guy really is unique in his picks for artwork that he wants. He's always prepared, has a list every time. And he gives me very obscure stuff. So, but he's really good at knowing the artists that are around, and he will play to their design skills. So for me, a lot of the when people get my art, a lot of times it's very superhero centric, or it might be good at I might be good at doing like a mech or something like that. And he really likes how I do my like Transformers or my um I would say like Gundams, stuff of that stuff. So he likes mechanical creatures for me, and he will usually give me like bigger characters because I'm a lot better at drawing larger characters. That's what I kind of cater towards. I really like it. Let me let people know real quick that I'm live. Let me let these guys know. Guys, I'm live. Let me give them the link real quick here so that way they don't miss it. Doing all this stuff is a lot, right? I mean, trying to get all this, getting people to know about it is a lot. Okay, let me go into this Discord and I'm gonna add this here. Sarah, if I spell it right. Well, okay, I did. Okay, and just for some reason it's acting weird. I love autocorrects. They really want to do weird stuff. I'm gonna put this in all my stuff so that way everybody knows. Working on Sarah. Let's paste this in place so that way people know. Put this all in all my Discord so that way people are in the know. Oh, and it's there. Perfect. All right, so now people are aware. All right. So no more dead air. I'm back on. All right. So again, I don't usually draw this stuff, but like I said, this guy that I got a chance to do some work for over the weekend. Um, he came in and was like, "I want this particular mech," and I was like, "What?" So I don't know if it was like Pokemon or what kind of mech it was, but it was something unique. Um, had swords, so you already got me there. You can't really knock me on that one because I really like. If you got a character with a sword, we're already in business, and I was glad to do that. So now my challenge from that I have is just making sure, like anytime that I'm doing stuff, I want to incorporate doing characters that are not in my normal um, genre of stuff that I do, and I like that. That presents a challenge because if you're always doing the same stuff over and over and over again, there's no challenge for you. I mean, if you like to do that, cool, but I'm not built that way. I like to do things a little different, so that's what I'm going to do. I got to make his eyes a little bit more forced, and he's got this weird looking nose. It is pointy, and it's got the dot on the end. He's like a almost like a Joker in a way, like as far as the look goes. He's got that sadistic looking smile that the Joker has. I have to be I have to admit I've never seen one of these movies. I've just heard about it. And I've heard about it through um kids that I worked with, and they really love it. And then some of my friends are like talking about the whole theories behind who this character is and why what his motivations are and all that kind of good stuff and what the end result will be. So I'm kind of curious. They say it's pretty violent. I don't know if that's really something I want to dive into, but we'll see. We shall see. It might be something I check out one day. I'm not a big horror fan. I don't get scared easily in horror movies. So for me, I find those things could be kind of boring. I mean, a lot of the horror movies now that they do, it's just jump scares, and that to me is just not fun. I want something that's going to really like freak me out. The last time I can say that I saw a movie that really got me was It Chapter One, and the reason that It Chapter One was so significant for me is that it wasn't scary; it was creepy. There is a huge difference between the two. So think about like scary, it's more like a boo thing. Like you're gonna jump out and you're gonna scare somebody like that. Whereas when it's creepy, it's like something that it goes up your back and up your neck, and you just think of like a spider crawling up your neck or a bug crawling up your neck. That is the level of freakiness and tension that was given in that movie. Whereas when you look at the second movie was more like a jump scare. It did not have that depth of creepiness to it. In all honesty, that was the part that hurt that movie the most. So for me, I was very underwhelmed with the second part. I was so stoked to see that second one. And after seeing what I saw, I would have been better off not even seeing that second movie. That second movie was horrible. And some people can say it was great, but I thought it was bad. But that said, I am pretty stoked to see this new Welcome to Derry series that they got coming out. So if you're not familiar with Welcome to Derry, Derry is the place where the Pennywise character and the whole story takes place. So this is a prequel, and it goes back. I think I think it's like 50 years, and it's going and talking about some of the kids that ended up disappearing, and one of the first times that Pennywise actually shows up. So I think that's really really cool to see that whole thing, but from a different perspective, different time. I'm looking forward to see how they make that whole thing come together. I'm excited. So I know I just something new that I wouldn't even say new. I would say just something I've been watching. Um, so recently, I have been jumping into this new series called Alien Order. Hold on, sorry about the zippers and whatnot. I gotta find my pins so I can start doing stuff. Okay, so recently I started getting into this new series. It's called Alien Earth, and when I went into it originally, I was like, okay, Alien Earth. We're going back to the whole alien stuff, um, but it's a little different. How you doing, Jitterbead? Nice to see you on there. Thanks for attending the stream. I'm working on a who is this? The Terrifier right now. We're gonna see how this comes out. Going back to the show that I was talking about, I'm watching that Alien Earth, and this Alien Earth. Way back, didn't mean to do that. So this Alien Earth series is insane. Like it's so good, and the fact that in this series, it's I would say almost the xenomorphs are a secondary thing in the series, which I think is cool because the way that they did the advertising and everything, they made the xenomorph the central thing that they were showing, and I think more so to keep the mystery of it. We saw the characters in there. Just so you know, they do have the synthetic human beings, basically what Bishop was in Alien and the other um, cyborgs that are not cyborgs, but the other robots that they had in previous movies. So with this, it's very character driven, which is important because it shows dynamics of each particular character. Like every character in the story so far that they've shown these last 6 episodes, every character that is featured has importance. Obviously, you have ancillary characters, but there's a series of different characters. There's a brother and sister. There are other cyborgs. But the best part about this series is that it focuses on aliens, and aliens actually have a character component in this series. And the way that they've managed to make it make sense is kind of cool. I'm not going to give away anything, but I will say that it definitely takes things in a different direction. Now you get to learn a little bit more about the Wayland and Utani groups and how these factions came to be and what their dynamic is. So it basically takes place where these folks are on Earth, and Earth is basically gone to poop, and they, in order to get things back in order, they have 5 major companies that dictate what happens throughout Earth, and that sets up some power struggles throughout the series, and you see some people and companies going against each other in different ways. And then obviously you have other issues that come in. I will say, yes, there is xenomorph in this series. I'm not going to tell you how they play a role, but they are important in this. Trying to remember some of the actors, but I can't remember who they are off the top of my head. Um, I just remember one of the actors was from Fast and Furious because I liked him. He was also in what was that show? He was in Hitman as well, and he's pretty phenomenal. He plays a very different character in the series. He is a he. I will say he's an antagonist in certain ways, but that's all the way up until I mean that's episode 6 that they've shown so far. And again, I'm not going to give away any details because I feel like the series is pretty damn strong, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody because it's a ride. A lot of series just get kind of boring. This is not one of those. I would definitely recommend that one for you. Whoops. What else do we have on tape? What else did I check out recently? Because I wanted to go over like TV series because I listen to a lot of that stuff while I'm doing my work, and I think it'd be good to kind of recommend those things. I said in previous casts, I'm definitely going to focus in on doing that. I'm a huge series buff. I love watching different series. Sometimes I catch up on series that are, I mean, way late, and I get frustrated by that. But I also enjoy the fact that I do get to jump in it later, and I don't have to wait season after season to get to the climax. For example, a couple of, I'd say probably a couple months ago, I decided to go in, and Netflix decided to, I guess, license out series from TNT, Turner Broadcasting. And one of the series that they grabbed was Animal Kingdom. Now, I'd seen the show pop up numerous times on um, TNT. I had thought about watching it. The advertisements weren't really grabbing me, and I was more catered towards the show called Claws, which was these 4 or 5 women that worked for a beauty company, and they ended up going down the wrong path, and obviously murder ensued, and then they have to figure out how to fix things, and just to basically that story trope. So I really wasn't too interested in watching that show. However, I just happened to see it, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, you know what, let's try this. um, it had Ellen Barkin in it, and that was really the only person that I knew of from that. And I've always thought that she was a pretty good actress. She has this very interesting demeanor about her. Oops, let me move that over. Yeah, she has this very interesting demeanor about her. She's like this very potent character whenever she wants to be. Oh, I don't like this. I'm gonna have this. I'm stopping right there. Sometimes you gotta like cut it out because it's just not vibing with you. I don't like it, so I'm gonna have to start brand new because I really want something good, and then I'll get going on the Sponkies. So sorry you guys had to endure that move. I don't like doing stuff and being unhappy with it, so I really want to come up with something better. It happens. It really does happen. I don't like getting stuff that's half done and it doesn't really show my abilities. It's frustrating when you don't do that. All right, so we have this guy. We're going to put him over to the side. Going to give a better face. Go back to the red pencil, and then we'll go to work. Oh, cool. We'll go to this side. Okay. So going back to this show, Animal Kingdom. The premise behind Animal Kingdom is you have a family of criminals that like they're lifelong criminals. This is how they live their lives. They do a job. They get their money, get their funds, um, and then they live life and enjoy life, right? However, as a criminal, when you get those funds, your funds only last but so long, right? So you have to keep up this. I would guess you would say you keep up this whole thing of just going in and step and repeat. Get money, got to go back. I'm sorry, get money, you steal money, you wash the money, you play with whatever funds that you get to keep. Um, but it's not enough, right? And they keep on doing this. That's their thing. They keep on doing it. And unfortunately, that life ends up costing them a lot. Costs them family, costs them each other because if you're a group of criminals, the one thing that will typically happen is that criminals will eventually cross each other. Like that's a line that criminals typically are try not to do, but you're eventually going to screw over your friends, or the people that you have partnerships with. You don't want to, but eventually that's going to happen. So in this series, that definitely happens a lot. Um, you have family going against family, but it's always one of those things where like the mom in the series, Ellen Barkin's character, she's all about taking care of the family. You respect each other, you love each other, despite how bad things may be. You do not cross the family. However, if you do cross them, there is punishment, and that's a lot of what happens throughout. You have um, it's a mom, her three sons. One of the sons is actually not biologically hers. I'm sorry. Sorry. Let me take it back. One, two. Sorry, four sons. Four sons. One of which is not biologically hers, and then her nephew. So she takes in her nephew, starts teaching him the ropes. Um, you can kind of see where this is going, right? Um, so not what you would. I mean, it's not a typical. Um, let's do a heist, and the family is all good kind of thing. It's do a heist, and let's see what happens. I would say if you're watching it, the first season is probably the strongest out of all of the seasons. Um, I believe it is 5 or 6 seasons deep. Um, it veers off, and instead of it does a split between the past and the present. However, it is good at making sure that it gives you context as to why this family ended up the way they are. So it's kind of like looking back, especially like the mom, you get to find out more about her and why she is the person that she is, why she acts the way she is, why she values family so much. And then that also falls into why the kids are the way that they are, why they have this reputation around town. It is so well crafted in that respect. But like I said, I would say that the first season is probably the strongest. Mm. His character is so interesting, like the look of him. I just got to make sure I get it right because I've never drawn this character before. So that's my newest stuff that I would say is out there as far as like the TV stuff. Oh, you know what I'll do? I'm making this harder on myself. Let me do this. Let me get this out of here. You know what I need to do? I'm looking at this from the wrong direction. So I want the Terrifier to have this mouth where the teeth, he's gritting his teeth, and I'm not drawing the lips right. So I want his teeth to grit. So I'm going to darken this in a little bit, darken that. Here we go. That's what I want. And he's got like these weird, funky teeth. Hopefully, somebody's going to pop in here. I'm hoping that the stream is getting out there. Okay, so now I put this around the mouth. Yeah, that's much better. Get that to his lip. I have a lot of people now this one of the things that's kind of thrown off my schedule is that I'm teaching again, which I love. I enjoy being able to educate people. But the cool part is, uh, why is that doing that? There we go. So the cool part about it is that I get a chance to work on four different platforms, right? So my my first one is I get to work in intro graphic design. So I get to teach kids and even adults that are really getting in, that are just getting their toes dipped into graphic design. Some of these folks have like certifications in Adobe. Some of them have certifications in Illustrator and other Adobe platforms, which is good because when they come to our arena, they have some skills. But you'd be surprised in these programs, some of these basic skills and whatnot are not they're not teaching some of the things that you would get when you're in a real scenario, like when you're in the real world. So my teaching, when I teach a class, I'm all about helping them be ready so that way when they get themselves into a real world setting, they don't flop. I have flopped, and it's the worst feeling to have that happen. It's not something you ever want to experience as a creator. You want people to enjoy your work all the time. That's one of our things. We really want people to enjoy what we do. However, if you can, get somebody that actually cares enough to give you all of their knowledge and you take that in and you're able to utilize it, you're going to become that much better of an artist. So, my intro to graphic design class is just designed to um, help people un- help people dip their toes into Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, and Adobe InDesign. Just those three. I think it's a really cool course because it can kind of let you know if this is something that you really want to pursue. Um, a lot of people have a hard time with this class. I demand a lot from my students. However, when you're in class, that's the best thing because you're going to get that one on one teaching experience and it's going to give you a chance to ask those questions that sometimes what we do is when we're frustrated or we get stuck we don't ask them, but when you're face to face with somebody you don't really have a choice. You got to be like, this is not working, because I have my students submit their stuff right there on the spot, and so you have to follow along, ask questions, and I'll help you out. The other classes that I get to teach are a vector class, which my background, I fought vector design classes so hard. Reason being is that when I first started out in graphic arts, it was, hey, Photoshop is the thing that you need in order to go ahead and succeed. That was the picture that was kind of painted to me from the artist side, not from designers, but artists, right? So I learned and I would only stay in that lane. And that's not the best way to become successful at your work. You need to be versatile. If you realize the power of the tools that are available to you, you're going to make your life that much easier. So, for example, in vector design, you realize, okay, if I want to create a logo for a client, I have to go ahead and give it in a some type of vector. Now, you don't have to obviously, use Adobe if you can't like afford it, but you need to understand, why you would use a vector over a Photoshop file, which is usually what we call a raster file, pixelated file. Um, when you learn that and you understand as to why how important it is that you do that, it changes your perception on using the software. It'll even kind of like make you want to learn it more. So think about it. If you go to, say, what's a good example? All right. So if you go to the Panthers stadium or any stadium for that matter, if you go and get some memorabilia, right? Logo that's on, say, a jersey. Now that logo is pretty clean, right? Even on a t-shirt. When you do that, those pieces that you get are put through a vector system and either like stitched, which gives you a super clean stitched out piece of artwork. You have a printed piece, and even when you think of, say, the big screens that are you know being put up, the images that are way up in the air, right, of that particular team's logo, right? Those things have to be vector because you can't have a 60-foot image and maintain it if it's all pixelated. It's going to look like junk. It's not going to look very well at all. So that's something to consider um, for those classes. That part I love. It's like Vector Design 1. It's a good course. I love it. It really challenges my students. Okay, let's get this in here. And then next is a Photoshop class. He's getting there. So the Photoshop class, we're really just touching on the powers that come with Photoshop. Because remember, when Photoshop, when people thought of Photoshop, it was you get a magazine, you see how airbrushed that person is. They've been photoshopped. So you have a raw picture that's the person doesn't look the best. You bring them up in Photoshop and you clean it all up, and voila, you got magic. That's how everybody thought Photoshop worked. But you can use Photoshop for not only image editing, you can also use it for illustration. You can use it for animation. Don't recommend that one. You can do it for 3D art. So if you wanted to take your artwork and put it, like, say, on a soda can and you want to see what that looked like, you can now do that. Makes things a lot easier. It is versatile in that capacity, but Photoshop, has its limits just like everything else. So getting good at that and understanding where its strengths are and then where the weaknesses are of the program, that way you're able to become more versatile and jump on to other programs that are going to just enhance that work. So I think we're getting close to wrapping up this Terrifier. This should not have taken this long, but I have never drawn this character, so I'm learning how the character works as I'm going along. So, trying to get this, what is it, this head piece over him. My last class that I get to do is a um, art direction class, and with that, we're doing things like infographics, logo iteration, and I'm now getting ready to walk them through being able to use a program called Adobe XD. Um, it is a UI UX designer program. So if you're familiar with like Figma, or you want to get into one that's a lot more that's being currently used, Figma would probably be the better one to use. Um, I think if Adobe had definitely, kept on going with their product, I mean, it's still, thank goodness it's still in their system. But I think if uh, if they don't start using it, it's not going to be something we can use anymore. So if you're not familiar with like a UX UI, UX is is short for user experience, and then UI is user interface. To give you a little bit of background on it, um, our phones have uh, they have a user experience that's designed for you or myself to utilize, and then they have a user interface that goes with pretty much anything. So if you have a TV set, if you have your cell phone, you have your tablet, how it works, okay, how it functions is part of that user experience. So where buttons are, where menus are, those are all considered in that UX UI design process. And it's very important that people learn how to utilize that software because with the newer versions of it, so like I'm going to refer to Figma um, and Adobe XD. So the benefit on Figma is that once you create these components, so let's just say you do a mock-up um, of a website. So once you take that website, or once you do that mock-up, you have all of the sizes for, say, your images and your menus, and you can then take that information, integrate it right into your website, easy peasy. Um, has all the code on the back end of it. So from a design standpoint, it just makes your life 20 times easier. You don't have to test anything on an actual website. You can just test it in there, and you have a functional piece of design. And that's really what you want to do. I mean, it's the good part is now you're not paying for domain space. You're not paying for hosting. None of that stuff. It's already done in there, and then you can give that to your client. They can play with it, get a feel for it. They can basically tell you, hey, okay, I like what I have now, and that's kind of like the 50% mark. And then you can just be like, hey, all right, do you want me to go and upload this to your website so you can really test it out and check out the functionality? Grab your phone, see the responsiveness components of the website, see what you like, see what you don't like, and then get back to me and let me know what's up. So from that standpoint, it's really, really cool. And I want my students to learn how to do that. Another thing another thing that Adobe XD is good for is from a presentation standpoint. So I use Adobe XD for all of my presentations. So when I am getting with students to teach class, most people would use like some kind of you know notes series or whatnot, slideshow, PowerPoint. You can make interactive PowerPoints and slides through that, and you can customize a lot easier. So you can take your Photoshop skills, your Adobe Illustrator skills, all those kind of pieces and components, and you can now integrate that nice and seamlessly because Adobe's XD program is made for a designer versus where a PowerPoint is more catered to somebody that's more analytical and very straight line. That the creativeness and design is not really you know user friendly. So with that you can definitely make something a lot more poppy, and that's what we really want. You want to have something that's more pleasing to the eye, and that is definitely it. Zig Inc. How you doing tonight? Nice to see you in here. Glad to see you. Getting this Terrifier piece done. I'm going to wrap this up. I just got to put on his hat. Oh, and I got to hit up this black here. I think he's looking pretty good. I'll get the hat in there. The cool part about the hat is that the hat is going to sit right here. It's going to probably go up a little bit. And I'm going to draw the hat through so I can see how the brim is going to work. And then it doesn't go out, it goes up like that. It's just off to the side. Weird and wacky. Let's grab that number 3. My Discord has been blowing up like crazy today. That and I hate to bring up politics because I'm not a huge fan of putting it on this stuff, but I will. I'm gonna put my 2 cents in on it because I think it's important that this be said. So I firmly believe in freedom of speech, 100%. I believe it's important for people to be able to speak their piece. Um, do you have to agree with what other people say? No, but you should be able to be adult enough to listen. And when I say listen, you need to actively listen to people. Um, it's a hard thing to do. I mean, I can definitely say it's taken me years to really understand that process, and I work hard at it every day to make sure that I'm doing that, because that helps you be present. Um, but let's put it this way: what happened at UVU is not okay. Um, Nobody, whether you like them or not, deserves to be targeted at all. It's sad. Um, I'm not familiar with the person that was, for lack of a better word, assassinated today. Um, I feel bad for the fact that his family has to suffer from somebody else's actions. I despise that. I don't like the fact that that had to happen. You know, I don't agree with that at all. So hopefully this will be an eye opener for people. I'm hoping that it's not going to be another one of those situations where we turn on the news tomorrow, we find out we do a big story on this particular person and the person that actually did the act. We do it, and then the next day it is no longer news. We need to really look at ourselves and look at the temperature of our country and really reevaluate how we address each other. Um, I would say right now, more so than ever, people in general are more angry in our country, and it can be from a variety of different things. Be that tariffs, it could be the war, it could be their family members having to deal with things that don't have anything to do with them. Um, it could be not being able to pay your mortgage, uh, gas, finding a job, any of those things, right? But we really need to slow down, take a breath, and stop being so mean to each other. It's very important that you respect your neighbor, you take care of neighbors, you take care of each other. Um, if you disagree with somebody, you talk to them in love, and it's hard to do. It really is. Um, Especially when we don't agree with people. We need to, my pastor says it best, you need to walk in love. Um, and that's a lifelong journey. It gets easier the more that you learn how to do it and you put it into practice. But we need to stop this madness. Gun violence is not okay. It's not a solution. Taking out people that you don't like is not even something that we need to do anymore. It's wrong, and you don't realize that by doing one action, how much of a ripple effect that it causes. So if we, let's just say, for example, let's put this gentleman aside that ended up getting hurt, but just let's say, for example, you are fighting somebody, right? and you punch that person and you break that person's jaw. They hit the ground, they get a concussion, they end up staying in the hospital for several days, right? Now you are looking at issues. Oh yeah, definitely. Now you're looking at issues where um, now you're looking at an issue where you have not just affected yourself, because now you're going to face some consequences because of your actions. Doesn't matter if it was self-defense or not. You're going to cause issues with you. And if you have a family, you're going to affect that family as well, because they're going to have to probably incur money, I mean, financial woes because of what you did. Now, let's look at the person that you hit. Now, that person has got a financial burden on them from being in the hospital. Plus, they have to go through whatever rehab and all that kind of good stuff needs to be done to fix those issues, right? And then the family has to deal with the fact that now they have to take care of this person. The work that that person was doing to help out the family, they don't have those means anymore because somebody else's actions, right? So we just really need to really consider our actions. You could be living the best life that you can live, and just by doing one stupid thing, one selfish thing, you can now cause a ripple effect that could really destroy people's lives. Um, I don't think really the person that did the shooting today was thinking about that. But this man, if I'm not mistaken, he's got two children and a wife. And now that mother has to live with the fact that somebody did this and took this person away from her children and from her. She probably left that man, earlier that day. He gave a kiss to his kids, gave a kiss to his wife, said, "I'll be back, in a couple days after I do this speech." And it's sickening. It's very sickening. So I'm hoping, like, down the road, people will really don't stop looking at it from a, we have democratic issues and we have, um, Republican issues. We have people issues, and we need to really start focusing in on that. So that's my 2 cents on the whole political side of things. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I like that. So what was set up on here, it says, must be mentioned that the anger and toxicity doesn't happen in a vacuum. Media figures who are creating the division and hatred are at the center. Yes. One thing that let me just say this last thing, and I'll end on this, on this particular subject. So um, one of my pastors, one of her biggest things that she talks about is division, and it's one of the things that she really doesn't like. And I never really understood it until I really put it into practice. But when you divide people, when you put that wedge between people, call it tension sometimes, um, that is a killer. You're pushing people away instead of bringing people together. When we bring people together, let's look at the opposite side, bringing people together. So 9/11, okay, somebody's hatred action brought America together. So I saw flags, we saw people, hugging each other, talking to each other, high five, and all that kind of good stuff, coming out and supporting each other, right? So that was a coming together moment. Um, so now there's no division. That was okay. We got to do what we got to do to get these guys, get back at them. This is never going to happen to us again. This kind of deal, right? Now we are dealing with a lot of what was said, this toxicity that is causing a lot of division. And it comes from the media, it comes from just people spouting all this crap, um, reposting negative things, all that kind of good stuff. And we just gotta, the goal of each other is to empower each other. We want that to happen. If we're not doing that, we're doing it wrong. You know, a lot of it's very easy to spread hatred online, and I get so frustrated by that. So that's it. I'm not gonna get on my soapbox anymore. I want to get on to something else. All right. So I think this Terrifier guy is done. I think he came out pretty good. I'm very happy with him. That is way better than that. Look at the difference. Way better. That one's junk. So I'm gonna put this one up on the thing. I'll post that up on social medias and all that kind of fun stuff too. And then if anybody wants him, he's available. Like he's really good. All right. And you know what I forgot to do? The one last thing I forgot to do on this guy. The thing I keep on seeing is I gotta have that bloody look in his teeth. I feel like he eats people. It's weird. Wish I could go to Halloween Horror Nights this year. Those crowds are really frustrating me. The pricing for it is really good though. I mean, under $100 per person to go to that place. That's dope. That's really good. I'm definitely down for that. Hey, Swirl, check this out. Got the Terrifier on there. Done. Done deal. Okay, let me actually. I gotta add some stuff because I don't have anything added to the store. There we go. Okay, so let's get this up here. I don't have anything in the shop, so let me go here. Let's go get our items, our inventory added to this show. So if any of you guys want to, get any of this stuff, I'm going to put it and make it available so it'll pop up in the show. So let's add that to the show. Add to this one and add. Perfect. So those things will be revolving here in just a couple minutes. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think he came out good. This was the original one that I was doing. I mean, this is not good. I don't like it. So I think this came out better. It looks way better. So what I have on tap tonight, I'm going to be working on the spawn piece. Is this have you seen Terrifier before? Is it any good? And would you compare it to? What is it like? Is it like watching Saw or something like that? Okay. All right, good. I have seen Hostel. I would say the first one was probably more terrifying, well, more gory than the first one. So, is it something like that? Oh, okay. So, yeah, so when I saw Hostel, there's a scene in Hostel where they cut the guy's Achilles tendon. Is it something like on that level? Like, will it make your stomach turn a little bit? Oh goodness. Oh wow. Okay. Are all of them the same way like that, or do they get progressively more violent? Oh my gosh. That's tame. Whoa. Yeah, Salzer and Hop. What? Wow. Wow. That. Okay, so I might just have to take a shot at it. Does all of that happen in just the first movie, or is it in other movies? Oh goodness. Okay, so I'm in for something when I watch this. Okay, all right. I'm you know what? Because you said that it's got these certain scenes. I personally like Saw. I like Saw. So because I like seeing how the creativity of what this guy does. I like the whole idea like he's not really, inflicting justice. He's letting them decide if how they want their justice to be. So I think that's really cool. I'm curious to see where this whole thing's going to go. A lot of people that I know love this thing, and I first found out about him. I'm going to say 2000. Was it 2000, 2019? I believe that's when I first heard about this character. So I'm curious to see how it is. It looks fun. Have you been to Halloween Horror Nights and been to the house that they have there? Well, let me show you guys what I'm working on. So I think I need to put some context to this. Um, about a year ago, honestly, let me see what this says because I can't read it on my end. Honestly, Horror Nights never looked appealing to me. I'm a big horror guy, but doesn't seem like something I like. You know what? I would definitely tell you if you like being scared, if you like an experiential thing, and I would definitely tell you that if you're gonna do Halloween Horror Nights, don't do it by yourself, do it with some friends because it's way better. Um, going through these houses, these scare houses, they are so well done. It's not just the jump scares, it's just the scenery in and of itself. Um, and to give you an example, the last time I went, they had a saw house. And in the saw house, there's a character that comes out, and I think it's one of the servants of Jigsaw. So they come out in the pig hat and the pig helmet. And what they did is they had a bunch of strobe lights. So what you would do is you go into the room, and this person would look like they were going from left to right in the whole area, and then they would just pop up like right next to you. It was freaky. I mean, it was so weird. So they pop up next to you, just be standing there. They wouldn't touch you, obviously, because they're not allowed to do that. And then they would just disappear. It was crazy. That same year, we had the werewolf movie. So we went through this area, and I think it was the bottom of King Kong. I think that's the back part of it when it was open. So we go through there. They had a subway train, and not only were there werewolves coming out from the bottom of the subway area, but there's werewolves that would drop down from the ceiling and freaking just scare the crap out of you. So that was part of it. And then there was another one where we went to this like little playhouse, and the at the very end, this is the part that got me, but I kind of knew it was going to happen. So I walked through with my friends, and at the very end, you see this place where you can go get food, right? And in there, you see this pile of toys or stuffed animals. And it was just, it's one of those things where you kind of knew something was going to happen. But if you were looking, because the person was in there, they could see people looking or not looking, they came up and they freaked out so many people. So from the production, like you said, the production side of it is so good. The only thing I would say is a drawback about Halloween Horror Nights. It's the one thing that I don't like about it. I'm not a big fan of standing in crowds for hours on end. Some of the scare houses that we went to were like an hour and a half, 2 hours, just waiting in line to get to the house, only to go through in like 5 minutes. That's frustrating. So getting the fast pass is something I would definitely do. But I would recommend, if you can, if you really you really like that scare stuff, I would definitely say you need to go check that out. It's pretty dope. All right, so let's take a look at this. I'll come back to this in just a second. Honestly, okay. Yeah, I would say something that I wish they would bring back. The Bill and Ted show was probably my favorite part of going to Halloween Horror Nights. They put a lot of thought into that particular stuff. I mean, you would watch Bill and Ted, and not only was it topical, so they would take things that were happening throughout the year, but they would also have it be a fun story. And it kept Bill and Ted really part of the conversation. And if they had really kept that going, I think that Bill and Ted movie probably would have done better. I really believe that. All right. So, all right. I'm trying to go back to my photos so I can pull this thing so I can show you guys. All right. So, about how you doing, Mandy? Yeah, nice to meet you. So about a year ago, I oh, no wonder I'm not far back enough. About a year ago, I started doing sketch covers. Like I never touched them before. Um, However, I thought the idea of it was really cool, and I was like, okay, well, one of these guys that I know, he brought it to my attention. He was like, "Hey, Marcus, can you do?" The first ones that I was doing was like Transformers and stuff like that. So um, I was like, okay, well let's try this. Wow, I'm missing some pictures. That's weird. Hmm. So sorry, I'm not trying to be distracted. I just want to pull this up so I can show. I know it's in here. There it is. Let's see. Make sure I got enough juice. Oh shoot, I gotta plug that in, or we're going to lose our stream. I had to double check that. So, like I said, about a year ago, I started really like cooking on sketch covers. Um, a friend of mine, or a client and friend of mine, brought it to my attention that, he had gotten stuff from me before, like bigger pieces and whatnot, but he really was looking to have like custom art on these sketchboards. So I started investing and buying sketchboards. And I really wanted to start doing a series of them where I was able to start doing them weekly. Um, Doing them weekly is hard, especially when you have to do a job. It's really, really difficult to do that. But this is one of the pieces that I did a year ago. So a dope spawn, and this is the wraparound piece that I did. Let me see if it has the whole thing. So you can see it. So on the back side, it has, if it'll go. So the back side has the violator on it, and the front side had spawn. This one I'm just gonna do right on the front. So the client that I did this for, he really liked. He had a Toyota Tacoma, and that was his baby, and really dig the rat thing. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that series. There's very, very, very few people I know that know about that. Um, so with this, his new baby that he's always wanted to have was he wanted a Corvette. So he was able to get a Corvette, but now he's like, I need to have a matching piece that goes with my Corvette. Um, so my goal is to be able to put all of the things that he wants into one front cover this time. I went a little crazy with that other one because it's a truck, so I had to go big. With this one, I'm not really going small, but obviously the car is a lot smaller than the truck. And I'm gonna try to pack some stuff in here. And the good part is because it's a sports cover, it's gonna have a lot less. Um, I don't have to worry about that big header up there. So I'm very happy about that. So for those of you that are new, because some of you I haven't seen before, every so often I'm going to be doing giveaways, and I'm probably going to bring my giveaways back a lot more, because I want to put my art into the hands of people, and I really want to get some exposure out there. So um, be on the lookout. I would say probably over the course of the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be doing some more giveaways to some of you guys. One of the giveaways I did was a cable, which is that's got to go out, and I did a Psylocke, and what else did I do? I did a couple other things, but I really like doing those giveaways. It's fun. It's good way to kind of add to your collection, that kind of thing. Okay. All right, so we're going to do, I need to grab this piece here. One, wait to come back to that in just a minute. And we're going to take a look at this. Do I really want this to look really cool? Um, so sorry. I'm not trying to not talk. So Squirrel, do you do any particular type of artwork at all? Well, we really appreciate it. So, is there anything in particular that you really like to have drawn? Like any character or anything like that? Any genre? Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, let's do that. I think I'm going to keep this. Go with this tire here. Wow. Okay. I don't know a lot of people that know those characters. That's really cool. I think for me, that character and that group was very obscure. I didn't know about that. You know what? I have a buddy of mine named Adam. He's the one that introduced me to that group, and he goes hard. So if you call yourself a nerd, I don't call you a nerd. I call you one of those people that goes deep, and you're more seasoned and cultured than others. So kudos to you. Oh, we're definitely gonna get this. So nothing wrong with that. See, those are those characters that I like because you don't they're not commonly asked for characters. So you're going to get a better piece because people are going to have to try a lot harder because they got to put a lot more work and love into those pieces. I'm glad that you have something that you have more diverse palette than most. Are you in the Florida area at all? Oh, wow. I went to California last year. I would say my only dig at California is that it's hella expensive. It almost feels like going to Miami sometimes. Any particular state that you're looking to go to? Like if you had the funds and funds were not a question, what would be the state that you'd go to, or what country that you would go to? Oh, really? Wow, you're a better man than me. I'm not a cold guy. I don't like the cold. Is California really hot? I don't mean to sound ignorant. I've never been over there for a long period of time. Damn. You ever been to Florida at all? Yeah, I would definitely say that I would definitely tell you. I'm a little jealous that you're in California because they have, you got San Diego. I've never been to that San Diego con. I almost went. Um, but Florida, or at least the East Coast, I'm not going to say just Florida, but the East Coast definitely has some fun cons, and they're not crazy. I would say MegaCon is probably our craziest convention that we have here in Florida. Last year was pretty dope because it was the first time that Todd McFarlane ever came to a Florida convention, so that was really dope. I would love to go to Heroes. That's one that's on my bucket list to actually do. I want to do that one. I want to do, and I'm not saying visit. I want to actually do artwork there. Um, I would love to do Heroes. I want to do New York. I would love to do San Diego, but San Diego is probably not high up on the list as much as doing Heroes and New York. Yeah, I think my big thing is I want to. I don't know how old you are, but you know I was one of those guys that was around when the uh, the big boom or the launch of Image started. So a lot of the my favorite artists, I've been trying to slowly but surely get to meet and or get work from them, and I think I made a pretty good headway on making that happen. I was lucky enough to meet or see Todd McFarlane earlier this year. That was pretty cool. He is probably one of the most inspirational people you will see. Um, I can't tell you how many countless times I've watched interviews and stuff like that with him, but seeing him in person and seeing how he thinks and how he operates, way different. J. Scott Campbell is another one that I got a chance to meet. He's as humble of a person that you'll ever meet. And those are my two. I still need to meet Rob Liefeld and I need to meet Jim Lee. Mark Silvestri is still up there on my list of people to meet. So yeah, I mean, man, I I am so thankful that they did what they did and sparked what we get to enjoy today. I mean, I would say my most recent graphic novel I read was Invincible, and I could not put that thing down. I read it from the first issue all the way to I think it's like 130 or something like that, some obscure number of that like that. But I could not put that thing down, and we wouldn't have that in Marvel. That stuff, the things that they did in that book would never be touched if they kept on doing the status quo. I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but um, I saw the page that broke the camel's back um, for Todd McFarlane. That was really cool to see. Um, I will say the that Spider-Man number 16 was so cool. You got to see him actually put the blade through that character's head. So awesome. So awesome. And just to know that that's the part that really like threw people. Oh, cool. I will need to check that out. So, if you're a fan of J. Scott Campbell, he's got a new hardbound book Kickstarter that's coming up, and definitely gonna jump on that. When did this come out? Oh, a day ago. Well, definitely gotta check that piece out. Okay, so let's go over here. We want to. All right. I want to make sure that we're grabbing the right stuff. Need to grab the Corvette. Oh, it's in here. So sorry, I got to go through my messages. Let's see. I'm not. Oh, really? I'm just curious. What is it about his work you're not a fan of? Oh, okay. That's fair. Yeah, he's a different. I think I have a different appreciation for him because I remember back in the day when he did his Nintendo Power book. That was fun for me to see. He won that, and to this day I still can't believe that he did that. And his work was so clean back then. 15 years old, creating work that was pretty damn epic. There we go. Where is my buddy James? There he is. Sorry, I'm looking for this one picture so I can get my reference. I have to look up that artist. I probably know the art versus the person, so I'm gonna take a look at that real quick. So I'm curious. What what does that person draw? I see that is it a Polish artist? Oh, that's a writer. Oh wow. Does that person do like watercolor? Because I think that's what I'm finding right now. Yeah, that's pretty fire. If that's the person I'm looking at right now. Yeah, if that's the person that I saw just a second ago, that work in watercolor, oh my goodness, that's stunning stuff. See, if somebody like that, now that's a fine artist. If I could get more of that, I'd be happy. Example of that, um, I would pay just like you. I pay if I could afford it, I would buy an original Alex Ross piece. Well, it's Frank Miller. I mean, now you have my attention. I'm all in. Now I have to actually get a copy of this because I'm down. Did Frank Miller do the artwork in that book, or did he do the writing for it? Oh, okay, cool. I like his. Nothing against Mr. Miller. I think he's still great. However, I feel like his artwork is not as great as it used to be, but he is a phenomenal writer. I will always give him that credit. Like his writing, I love. I mean, oh man, I'm scrolling. For some weird reason. Okay, he did the cover. Ducey runs the question. Okay, that's okay. All right, I do remember that cover, those covers. That's helpful to know. Yeah, I definitely got to give it up to him. His work is pretty damn nice. Thank you for the suggestion. I know that's probably not where you were going with that, but I take it as a suggestion. I think that's a great one. And I will definitely be partaking and getting a copy of that book. I love people that do artwork like that because it's a different level. Um, I'm I'm a digital artist to a certain degree. Um, I s- I'm not 100% all in on digital art. Like it's not my main thing. I like seeing traditional art as well. So for me, that's the way to go. Um, so when I see artists that do that kind of stuff, I'm super stoked. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, like I said, I mean, Alex Ross is probably my favorite, but this guy might put a good dent in his work and make me rethink. It takes a long time to create stuff like that, so your thought process is different. I mean, one of my favorite artists of all time. I think you're giving me new ones. Okay, I'm gonna check this one out too. Um, so one of my favorite artists of all time is Struzen. Love Struzen. All right, let's take a look at Lake Como. Okay. Take a look at that artwork. So very a lot of perspective and landscapes. Is that what I'm looking at? Oh, okay. Wow. Really? Okay. Well, you know what? Italy is on my bucket list. My wife and I are going to end up going there eventually, so hopefully I'll catch them. But I maybe I can talk her into letting. Well, we'll plan it around this. I think Italian Art Festival. I'm definitely going to keep that on my radar for sure. I would love to go over there to Italy. Well, it's food, it's the culture, but it's also the food, and it's not America. I'm not knocking America, but it's just not America. I have heard that being in going to Italy is pretty dope. So I think that is definitely one I am going to see about making happen. So I appreciate this suggestion. That is very, very cool of you. We're gonna get this little right here. Are you a big TV show fan at all? The reason I ask is, you know what? That's really not a bad thing. So down here in Florida, or over here in Florida, we have this thing called Art Basel. So Art Basel basically takes a lot of like European and other international artists and even domestic artists, brings them all together and has this festival for an entire week. And the main spot is this Miami Convention Center, but throughout all of Miami, they have different artists. We're not just talking art. We're talking musicians and stuff like that, sculptures and all that stuff all throughout the city. Banksy actually had an exhibit out there at one point, but the tickets themselves are about, I think it's $100 per day to go to it. But just for, if you're an art enthusiast, the experience that you're going to that $200 is an experience that you're going to take away and you're going to definitely enjoy every dollar that you spend. So I would recommend, if you haven't done it, which it sounds like you haven't, do it. Just bite the bullet, save up the whatever pennies that you got to save up to make that happen, but do it. That convention, and it happens in December. It's called Art Basel. I believe it's spelled Basel. That one was really cool because I got to see my first Rembrandt, like, in person at that. It's not just, painters. We have graffiti artists that are there. They have the year that I went. I don't know if you remember, but there was a guy that taped a banana to the wall. That was one of those big things that went around. But I was there with my wife when the guy decided to rip the banana off the wall and eat it in front of the crowd. It was kind of crazy. when he did it. Um, it frustrated the people that were there, but it was a live art thing, so he was definitely just trying to live in the moment and shock people, and he did in a big way. But going back to the festival that you told me about, I would definitely tell you if you can swing the airfare and whatnot to get over there. Again, just do it. Y- um, Look, it's if you're an art lover and it sounds like you an art enthusiast, I would say that you definitely need to just do it. I mean, there's something to be said about going to an art gallery. It gives you a good feeling to see how people capture ideas. It's almost like you get a portal into their brain. It's so cool to see. Like when I went to Art Basel the first time, um, I didn't make it past um the entryway because that's where they had some other really unique things going on. So made it to the entryway and I almost ended up buying like a $600 book that was colored with this I wouldn't say plush, but it was this purple a purple plush fabric on it, and it was from this guy that did like erotic art. Like it was an erotic comic, but it was like the space comic from this artist, and his family finally released these pieces, but they're produced in full size sheets. So I think it was, I'm gonna say 11 by 17, but it had a trimmer on it, but it was a huge book. And if I had had the funds to do it, I would have definitely bought that. It was such a unique um, and interesting book to get. So that was just going to that art show. Um, we've been to multiple galleries. We actually had the opportunity to meet some really cool artists. One of our favorites is this guy named Fabio Napoleoni. He's a artist. I believe he started out in Miami, but Fabio Napoleoni has this character um, that looks like a doll, and that doll has a series of stitches and all these little marks on it, and it's based after his grandpa. And he also has this like Raggedy Ann looking doll character, and that's based after all of the girls that his grandfather used to date. And all the girls change because they reflect the women that were in this man's life. So it's so well thought through, and his artwork is so unique. So I would say if you want to check something like that out, but if you ever get a chance to come to Florida, come in December because Arts Basel is in December. It's the first week in December, and I promise you're not going to be disappointed. Um, the cool part about it, like I said, the convention center is where the main hub is, right? So it's a huge convention center. It'll probably take you a good portion of the day to finish to get through it all. But when you go through, if you want to stay down in Miami, you have obviously all the clubs and everything that are around there that are bringing in other artists. Um, South Beach sometimes will have featured art there, but we also have an art district called Wynwood, and Wynwood is where they literally bring a lot of the artists that they partner with Art Basel. They bring them in, and I believe Peyton Ferry. Um, he and a couple other people ended up tying together with Art Basel, and then now they bring in graffiti artists to do the walls every year. So you're getting something fresh, and it's not just graffiti artists. You also have sculptors. They have a guy that came in years ago. They literally grabbed trash from over uh, the city areas around this Wynwood. They brought it in, they dumped it into Wynwood, and this guy made a piece of artwork right there at Wynwood. And we're talking like using like screws and wires, putting all this stuff together. He made, I think it was like a 10-foot tall gorilla. And then on the another part, he ended up making another monkey on the other side, or the inside of this other gallery. So you get to see some very unique things. I would definitely say if you get a chance, that was cool. Let me see here. I'm trying to look for my reference. All right, I'm gonna probably close this up here in just a little bit. I just want to see if I can get a couple more little details on this piece before I call it a night. So, well, I really appreciate you coming in here. I've had a great time having a chance to chat with you. Yeah, I don't know, and again, my ignorance is here about like California. I don't know if it's like when you go to New York and you actually get to see like on the streets that kind of stuff. That's fun. No, I know obviously at a convention you're going to see that. Um, at the art shows you, I don't get a chance to see that happen very much. So I actually get to see the art as it's in its completed state. Um, I think for me going to these kind of shows, my favorite part is that I get to see people that I've followed their careers. So for me, when I got to see a cause piece in person, I would like I had this I wouldn't even see brought to tears, but I was kind of like this like, wow, this is amazing. To see where this person came from and to see where they're at now, for me, that was huge. So I mean, it's not just artist process for me. It's also that ability to be able to see how that person's grown in their medium. I mean, think about it. Like Cause is for me, and I'm just bringing him up because he's one of the people that I've really followed over the years. But seeing that person go from um, a background or an artist for Doug from Nickelodeon to making an iconic character that's the skull face that's been used with Kanye's albums. It's been part of shoe lines. It was at the MTV Music Awards. Like literally, I mean, huge pieces, installations, and they're all over Europe and stuff like that. I mean, it's fascinating. But to see the actual pieces there at that gallery, oh, wow. I mean, like I said, I got to see, a Rembrandt, or sorry, Renoir, and I think I also saw a Rembrandt there. Seeing a Picasso live and in person, that was nuts. Like a real one in person, and that's a shocker. I mean, I I can't even put it into words. It's that crazy. Okay, there's my reference picture. Okay, so this side, right? Oh, it doesn't have that much of a face. This little light here, and Oh, this is supposed to be up a little bit more. I might have to do some tweaking on this. So the goal for this piece is I'm drawing this Corvette, so I got to do some tweaking on my work so I can make it look like it's a Corvette. Yeah, I definitely want to go there. I have it on my list of places to go. Um, I am just I definitely want to go to the definitely want to hit up the MoMA. I also want to go to the New York I think it's New York Gallery of Art. I want to go there because there's pieces that um you're not going to be able to see anywhere else. Um I know I want to go in France. I can't remember the famous art place there, but I want to go there. My sister has had a chance to go there. Um my goddaughter and her family have had a chance to go through, and some of the epic pictures that I've seen, I just going to Europe in general just to see artwork is probably it's definitely on my bucket list to do. I want to be able to see the David sculpture in person. I want to walk the streets that, some of these artists had a chance to walk down. I mean, I can only imagine, being able to walk down the road that say Leonardo had a chance to do. All right, so he's gonna I think I'm gonna stop there because I'm noodling this way too hard. I don't even have the glass in place. Got some glass. Feel better now. Glass got to go all the way to the door. And we need to put the side mirror there. May or may not have grabbed something off the bin. Oh, really? That would be cool. Well, either way, congrats to you. I will say I'm a little jealous, but I get it. We'll do a spawn, and I think we'll put a violator here. Violator's arms. We'll have him because the arms of Violator are always like super huge. We'll have him like this. That'll work. And have the other one down here. Okay. All right, Sorrel, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I would love to talk with you again. So I'll be back on here next week, and then I'm going to start changing up my schedule where I'm here on Wednesday nights, but I'm also going to start popping up on Tuesdays and Fridays. So I'll have 3 days that I'll be able to start doing streams. Um, and those will, alter between like an hour or two for those, but that'll give me time to go and do some more stuff like this. Hey man, I really enjoyed talking to you. So hopefully I'll get a chance to talk to you again next week. And maybe I'll hook you up next week. So kind of give you like a little incentive for next week. Have a great night, man. I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.